Hey everybody, Erik here again with another episode of Retail Archaeology. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fiesta Mall in Mesa, Arizona. It started with a conversation with a friend about an old mall that we used to go to. And he asked me, hey, have you been to Fiesta Mall lately? And I said, no, I used to go there all the time as a kid and hang out and get into trouble like any teenager did at the mall. And he told me, well, it's the weirdest thing. It's open, like the mall's open. He's like, but there's hardly any businesses in there. All the storefronts are closed and empty. There's hardly any people in there. It's really eerily quiet. So I went to Fiesta Mall and it was just so weird. I was like, I gotta take some pictures and I gotta film some of this because I've never seen anything like this. And all kind of just snowballed from there. Most of my teenage mall experience was with Fiesta Mall, Superstition Spring Center, those ones. But my dad used to take me out to Metrocenter because it was one of the bigger malls. They had a really cool arcade. Before that, they actually had an ice skating rink where the arcade was. I'm a little bit too young to remember the ice skating rink. I didn't get to see it, but my dad did take me there when I was like, 10, 11, 12 to go check out the arcade.
Let's go poke around in the back room and see if we can find any clues as to what this place was originally.
I think everybody knew at some point Metrocenter Mall was going to close, but I think with COVID, it just brought that demise so much quicker. They just kind of suddenly closed. I think it was at the beginning of June. They said, hey, we're closing at the end of the month. And it was just kind of a real quick, all of a sudden thing. This was the first time that I was in one that was, closed to the public. And it had been closed for several months. And it was really shocking just seeing how quickly the property deteriorated, in a matter of, I think it had been closed less than 6 months when we went in there, but there was already graffiti all over the place, a thick layer of dust all over everything, leaky pipes, just all manner of things you could think of, and stores that were, someone had obviously gone in and trashed the store looking for something, broken glass. So it was amazing to see. I know that they get like that eventually, but it was very weird to see it in that state. And also they were still pumping music into large portions of the mall, so that was really bizarre as well. That there was music playing when it looks like zombie apocalypse kind of. It was really eerie. It was a lot different than just being in a mall that's dying.
This is one of my most favorite dead malls that I visited, and I was in the area, so I wanted to take a look at it again. And wow, it's doing much worse.
There was a mall in San Diego called Horton Plaza. I believe the architect that designed that one's name was John Jerd, who was kind of a famous architect. And it was really like a whimsical, weirdly designed. I think it was 6 floors, but they were kind of staggered. I had a close friend of mine that lives in the area. He calls it the Dr. Seuss Mall. And I love that one. It photographs real well. It still showed a lot of mid 80s, early 90s aesthetic. There's a lot of checkerboard print and things like that and neon around. And I love that one just because I think it's one of the most interesting to look at. And it seems like with Horton Plaza, what actually killed it was them no longer validating parking. A lot of malls really started struggling in the beginning in the late 90s. And it had nothing to do with Amazon in so much as it had to do with, in a lot of places, they just built too many malls. We didn't need as many as they built. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is, people do still go to the mall, but they go to the new, fancy, shiny one instead of the ones that I find more interesting. Metrocenter Mall is a good example. That one is really interesting architecturally. It's a shame to lose it. You went to the mall to hang out, to see friends, to kill a Saturday afternoon. Living in Phoenix, it was for the free air conditioning. So it was a communal place, and I think a lot of that is being lost, especially with teenagers. That goes kind of to another reason why I think losing malls completely would be a big loss is a lot of the people that work in the malls tend to be younger people, and that's their first job experience. So it kind of teaches them how to have a job, how to clock in, how to be there on time, how to present yourself, professionally, things like that. Since I've started this, I try to avoid ordering things on Amazon. Obviously, you can't avoid it completely, and some things are too good of a deal. But especially right now with everything that's going on with the pandemic, obviously Amazon I think has become a bigger part of people's lives lately. But I'll even make an effort to go support those mom and pop businesses that are in the mall, because if anything's going to help keep them alive, it's those. It's not just the malls that are struggling. It's the strip malls. It's the grocery store chains. It's so I want to show people that as well, that it's it's not systemic, just a one type of thing. It's an issue that affects all corners of retail. And I don't want to tell people not to use Amazon or online shopping in general, but just don't forget about your local businesses and your local malls.